Welcome to Cheers. I'm your host, Avery Woods. Hi guys, welcome back to the Cheers podcast. I'm your host, Avery Woods. We are in the LA Spotify studios and we are so happy to be back here. And I have Sivan here with me, who
Hi.
I have followed forever. And I told her, I was like, I think I followed you since high school. And she's like, you're making me feel old. Really, you're just iconic.
No, I feel like literally you are.
No, you have built such an empire and you're such a successful businesswoman coming from the influencing world, which I really admire about you. So I'm so happy to have you here because I get to learn so much more about you.
Oh, well, thank you.
So for those that don't know you, give a brief intro of yourself.
So I am the founder of Unfiltered, which is a beauty brand. We specialize in self-tanning, luxury body care, and I also have a swim line called Tan Lines. Of course, I started as an influencer back in the day, so that's kind of the platform that enabled me to have my brands. But I feel like now I've evolved kind of past that name because I don't know, it has like a bad connotation, and I just prefer to like call myself a founder versus
and you
an
are.
influencer.
Yeah. And I mean, I just started working with Lux Unfiltered in a paid capacity, but before then I was a consumer, as you know.
I
Like
love that.
there's people that follow me know when we go to Destin, we had the matching bathing suits from
Yes.
Shop Tan
Yes.
Lines. I love everything from Lux Unfiltered. Just when I was in Bora Bora, everyone was asking me, "What are you wearing as your tan? What's your tan?" I'm like, "It's
You looked
Lux
amazing
Unfiltered."
on that trip, by the way.
Thank you. It is the best body care product line I've ever used, but it's the most aesthetically pleasing, which is just
Yes.
so your vibe.
So my vibe, so important to me.
Yeah, and I love that because my shower is just filled like even the wood scoop on the
It's
exfoliating
all the
scrub.
little
Like
details.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so when did you start in the influencing world?
So I started a really long time ago. 2011 is when I started my blog, but I didn't have a following then. I'd say 2015 was when I started getting a following around my wedding. So I was basically posting for nobody for 4 years.
Yeah.
And I treated it like a business. I took it seriously, but it wasn't until 2015 that I started getting people actually paying attention and growing. And then from there, I started to convert into partnerships, collaborations, and it wasn't until 2019 that I launched my brand. So, I mean, I had
Okay.
a long evolution in this space before I really was like making money and able to sustain myself, but I really was very passionate about creating content. I still do it even if it's not posted. I do it for myself. I've always been that way. I've always loved taking pictures and just documenting like my life and memories. So, to me it always felt very natural. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for a long ass time. And I
Yeah.
feel like at this point, I don't even know what my life would be without taking pictures or documenting or filming.
Yeah. Well, and then you get to a point too where you're just appreciative that you enjoy what you do
Yeah.
for work. Because I feel like that where even if I'm not making money, I just like to make the content. It's
Yeah.
fun for me. It's
Yeah.
fulfilling.
Exactly.
What did you do as a job before that?
So before that, I was in fashion. I worked in wholesale.
Oh,
So
okay.
actually here in downtown. And I was
Wow.
commuting from the valley, making that awful drive every single day. I was like paid nothing. And I was happy though, because I was in the space I wanted to be in. I've always loved fashion, but I mean, it was not a way to ever grow my career because there was nowhere to go from there. So I kind of bounced around from wholesale in the fashion industry, and then I did a little creative consulting. And that's kind of when I realized I had a knack for branding. I would find brands that I thought had potential but weren't maximizing it. So I'd reach out to them. This is kind of like the era of Instagram too. So Instagram came out. It was a really easy way to find brands that needed the help. And I would reach out and be like, let me help you with your website or your logo or just whatever creative I could contribute. And that's also at the same time I launched my blog. So I felt like I was kind of giving up a lot of my creative juices to brands. And then there was a point where I felt I wanted to give my blog a shot. And that's kind of when I made the transition from working for other people to working for myself. And it was a risk because I did not have financial stability. My husband is in law school. It wasn't like we had anything to fall back on really, but he saw that I was so passionate about it. He was like, let's just try it. Give it 100% and see what happens. Because at that point I was doing my side jobs, my blog, and he was like, let's do 100% on the blog and see what happens. And thank God, I mean, I did. It worked out.
Wow. It's this industry is all about taking that leap and that
Yeah.
risk. And we both, like David and I both came from completely different careers and flipped 180. But if we didn't take that leap, we
Yeah.
would never have this life, and we
Yeah.
would always be wondering, what if, you know?
100%.
And I mean, you've just always had that eye, and you've always, like, your color coordination, your editing, your moodiness, like the way you've not just your style, but the way that you have that creative eye for posts. You've always been like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's always been a consistent thing, which I think people like grow and evolve. You've obviously, everyone's editing skills or quality improves, but you've always been in the same lane,
Yeah.
which I respect about
Well,
you.
thank you. Yeah, it's something that has always come naturally to me,
Yeah.
which is when people would ask me like 5 years ago when editing and apps and all those things was like everyone was asking what that was, what I was using. I always would say that it's not about the filter or the edit, it's about your surroundings. And to
Mm-hmm.
me, if like my surroundings were all consistent and cohesive, it was an easy thing to document and it would always look good. And it's not that I'm trying to like make everyone live in the beige aesthetic because I feel like I've even moved past that.
Yeah.
I have color in my life and I'm happier for it. But I do feel like I was just naturally living in these surroundings where I was bringing things in my life that just made sense for that aesthetic. And
Yeah.
so it was always easy for me. I
Yeah.
never had to like try to make that happen. I always would tell people if you're trying too hard to make it happen, it's not going to like be sustainable
Yeah.
because what are you going to do? Live forever in a white everything? Like
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've always just been drawn to things that kind of fit my aesthetic and then it's translated into my brand, into my photos, into everything that I've created.
Yeah. I also think, you know, people that are so opinionated about the whole beige aesthetic thing, it's like if that makes someone happy and that's their style,
Yeah.
that's great. You don't have to do it.
Right, right.
Like,
That too. That
I
too.
that's one thing I respect about you so much is that you don't give a fuck what
No.
anyone thinks about you, says about you. I I literally look at some of your clapbacks or the way that you will like I wish I had that. You don't give a fuck. And I
I
love
can't.
that
I
though.
can't. I think that I've just had years and years of being judged.
Yeah.
And like a lot of it's misconception because I'm a very introverted extrovert. So a lot of times, like my stone wall comes off as bitchy.
Mhm.
And I also have resting bitch face. That doesn't help my cause. But I've just like grown up with people thinking that I'm this like really bitchy person. But when they get to know me, they're like, oh, you're not like bitchy at all. You're actually a really nice, soft person.
Yeah.
But because of that, I've grown so used to having like criticism and I've just developed a thick skin. And I just think that now with the internet, it's like I don't know any of you people. I don't really care what you think of me. At least that's like the least of my concerns. I
Yeah.
would care more if it's someone that I know or I love that felt that way about me.
Yeah.
Then I would have a different response than what I say online. But online, it's like I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
So think what you want, say what you want. Like it does not matter. Doesn't
Also,
affect me.
yeah, you're a stranger and you're
Right.
basing this opinion off of what you think, who you think I am because of a 30-second video. Like, even of you
Right.
doing your makeup, I'll see people, I'm like, she's literally one of the most beautiful humans I've ever seen. She's sharing a product that she loves, and you guys just want to shit on her. I'm like, for
I
what?
know. Well, I know I've seen that you've gone through this recently, and I feel like it just comes with the territory of
Yeah.
success. And everyone says if you have haters, you're doing something right.
Yep.
So, I mean, you've got eyes on you, and that's really good. And obviously, it shows your success. So,
Yeah, I was telling Drew, because Drew was on the podcast yesterday, and we were talking about how, you know, anytime I'm under some sort of scrutiny because I say whatever the fuck it is that week that pisses people off,
mm-hmm.
it's there's other influencers that will like text me and say, "Oh, you're getting so much hate right now. Sorry, you doing good?" And I'm like, "Okay, well, first of all, I don't need to be reminded.
Yeah.
I see it every day."
Mm-hmm.
But Drew was like, "Yeah, I've been seeing all that. Hey, congrats. Like, you made it." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Honestly, thank you for saying that because
Yeah.
that's the first I've ever heard of
Yeah.
that, and it
Yeah.
makes me feel better because I'm such a people pleaser."
Right.
And when I first started on social media, I was just praised all the time because of what I did as a nurse, you know? And
Uh-huh.
then once that transition happened, it just opened up a whole new audience of
Yes.
hate. And it's
Yes.
just wild to me.
I think it's really sad to say, and I hated to ever have to like think this is what's happening, but I feel like there's like this sense of relatability that goes out the door when you have some success.
Yep.
I've experienced it. People followed me when I had negative dollars in my bank account.
Yep.
I lived in a small house. Like it was just me and my husband, and we lived a very simple life, but I always aspired for more. It's never like been a secret. I've always said I've always aspired to have a very fulfilling, full, bougie life.
Yeah.
And, as I progressed and I grew and I gained more success, the more hate I got. And the minute the designer bag comes around or the minute you drive a nice car, it's suddenly like everyone wants to shit on it,
Yep.
but they liked it when you had nothing. And
Yep.
I understand, but I also am kind of like, I'm proud of people that have success.
Yeah.
Like, for you specifically, like I discovered your TikTok exactly a year ago because I had my boobs done. I was laying in
Yeah.
bed
Yeah.
and I didn't really like use TikTok at all at the time, but I
Mm-hmm.
was so bored of Instagram. I'm like, let me hop over there. And I
Yeah.
found you. Like it kept showing me you. And I was
Mm-hmm.
watching your videos. I was so captivated. I'm like, this girl is so entertaining. I don't know. I love watching your shit. Like you're with your kids and your mom and everything. Like I just was hooked. And then literally fast forward to now, a year later, and you've had such an incredible come up in your success in your career. You're so
Mm-hmm.
successful. And it's like, I'm so proud of you. I'm your
Oh,
biggest
thank
fan. I'm
you.
rooting for you. And it's like you've worked your ass off. It's obvious. But
Mm-hmm.
I've also seen all the comments and I feel that. I've been there. And I just think it's people feeling resentful and left behind.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I hate that for the world. I wish people would be more supportive, but
Yeah.
I know what that's like. Like they're watching you come from like honestly nothing to having
Yeah.
some everything.
Yeah. And I also, if they had the opportunity to work as hard as we did and create a business or, this success, they would do it too.
Right.
It's just that they I don't know if they don't have the motivation, they don't know how to get there, but you know, you'll never feel what it is to be in our shoes.
Hmm.
And, you always have to use that to motivate you. And that's the kind of person I am. I
Right.
see someone like you. Like you were one of my biggest motivators where I was like, damn, she's started from nothing, grown this incredible business, and then made her own business from
Hmm.
it,
Right.
and has created this incredible lifestyle that
Yeah.
so many millions of people want. But that is what influencing is.
Right.
You want to inspire people, and if people have an issue with the success or what you spend your money on, that's an internal problem for
Right,
them.
right. A different issue.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always felt that I don't take this for granted, and I'm very lucky to be in my position. And because of that, I work really hard to make sure that I'm like not slacking off. Like
Yeah.
I've never been that way. I'm really proud of my work ethic, and I feel I've always put in the work, no matter what I've done. Even when I had no followers, even when I wasn't even an influencer, like I was making minimum wage, and I worked really hard because I was just always proud of my work ethic.
Yeah.
And so while I'm very grateful and I'm blessed to have everything, I still feel like I worked my ass off. I earned it. It's not
Yeah.
like it was handed to me. And I just don't think people realize that because we have this glamorous life. Like they don't realize like all the work we put in and the
Yep.
sacrifices you make, as a mom especially,
Oh, yeah.
to have this
Yeah.
life.
Okay, so you launched Lux Unfiltered first, right? Or was it Shop
Um,
Tan Lines first?
I think we launched the same year because we're crazy, but I think it was Tan Lines in the summer and then Lux was right after that in the fall.
Tell me how that all started.
So with Lux, well, let me back up. So for tan lines, I had Capri. So we were going on our first vacation
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to get her some cute suits and I felt like there was nothing out
No,
there.
there was nothing.
It was like just a bunch of like frilly and
Yeah.
obviously my aesthetic
Yeah.
came into the conversation. I'm like, this really sucks. So I had the idea to have kids swim and then I was like, well, I want swim too. So the concept of matching mommy and me came into play. And that's when I started that process. And I mean, at the time also, I was traveling a lot. I don't travel as much now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like we've evolved into other categories because it's just going along with whatever I'm doing in life. So there's a lot of lounge now. We've got dresses
Mm-hmm.
because I don't just go to the beach and hang out in my bikini anymore,
Yeah.
like all the time. So that was the thought and concept behind tan lines. And then with Lux, I felt like I definitely needed to create something with longevity outside of being an influencer because like I mentioned, I've taken this very seriously my whole life or since I've influenced, but
Yeah.
I wanted to create something with longevity, sustainability. And I had this idea because everyone online was asking me how I had my tan. And I wasn't tan. I was just editing myself tan because I didn't like
Really?
anything. Yeah,
Okay.
nothing was like making me look tan. Obviously, the sun was, but
Yeah.
I never liked a product. And so that's kind of when the idea for number 32 came into play. I really wanted to create a product that was easy to use, smelled good, was gradual, natural looking.
I
And
bought it
then,
immediately when you launched it.
yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
That was like
But
one of the first products I ever purchased from you.
it was like this just like aha moment. I was like, wait, why am I not finding a way to create this product that I felt didn't exist? And then I also was pregnant when I was developing it. So then my like priority to make it non-toxic came into play. And we wanted to make sure I felt safe using it while I was pregnant. So then we managed to create all these things that I felt didn't exist. We launched and we sold out day one. And at the time, my husband was now an attorney. And he was like, well, I'm not quitting my job yet. That could have been a fluke.
Yeah.
And then, months went by. We kept selling out. And then he eventually quit his job. And now we're business partners and everything.
Amazing.
And now we have like 20 plus products.
That's insane.
So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like happened like from 0 to 100 with that. We didn't know like how it was going to be received, if
Yeah.
if the products were going to be special enough. And we really really like pour our hearts and souls into every single product, which is why it takes us so long to launch. But yeah, I mean, it's been an incredible journey, and I'm so proud of every single product we've launched. I've just been like obsessed with.
Well, you can tell it's all thought out. Like
Yeah.
everything you've ever launched is just, I mean, just down to the packaging is so high quality and luxe.
Yeah.
Like it's what I have on my
Yeah.
vanity. Like
Yeah.
it looks good. It's an actual good product. And that's what I was telling you when I was in Bora Bora. It was the only self tanner that didn't like
crack
make
you.
me scale and
Yeah.
cracky, and I
Yeah.
loved it.
I have like a big thing with like deep hydration is like the
Yep.
root to everything. I also say that if you're hydrating your skin and like oily skin, they say like ages better.
Yeah.
So, and like brunettes age better because we tend to be more oily. And
Yep.
so I feel like there's like science behind that. So I'm always trying to make every single thing we make very, very hydrating. So hydration was like number one when we made number 32. Like it has to be hydrating. It cannot crack the skin. And we managed to do that. So I feel like we really nailed down the hydration aspect, which is also something we've applied towards our colored cosmetics, our skincare that's launching.
Yay! Okay, so do we have a date for that?
It's coming sometime late April.
Okay.
But
around my birthday. Happy
how
birthday to
exciting.
me.
Yes, it's truly going to be a good birthday. It's like literally the best stuff. And everyone knows
so
I'm very
excited.
passionate about skincare and
Yep.
I'm very picky. And
That's how I am. I'm OCD about my skincare.
yeah, I mean, as you should be.
Yeah.
It's like it's your face.
Amazing.
So
Can you tell me how many products are launching?
yes, so we're launching with 3.
Okay.
It's a little system. So we
Okay.
have a cleansing balm.
Okay.
And we have an exfoliator. And then we have a cream.
Is that for me
And
to try?
yes, for you to try.
Okay. I can't wait. I'm
Yeah.
like immediately gonna go home and use that cleansing balm.
Yes, it's so good. But I mean, I've kind of been dropping hints like over the years because everyone knows like what I've been using for years. And I've
Yeah.
kind of said like this is kind of the standard. And if I can't match this or make it better, like I'm never gonna make it.
Yep.
And then we made it happen. So I'm very excited.
Amazing. Well, congrats. I'm so
Thank
happy for you.
you.
I can't wait to try
Thank
it.
you.
Okay, so for those that don't know, you have 2 kids.
I do.
Which they are so cute and so wild.
Thank you.
And I love that. Okay, so I also love that you were so open about talking about having help. Like you had a nanny
yeah.
for a long
Yeah.
time. And then I saw recently that you said you don't have one anymore.
Right.
Is that still the case?
Yes. So we had a nanny when we moved to San Diego. Since I didn't have family to help me anymore,
Yeah.
we immediately hired someone, and she was so wonderful. And I never experienced that like a professional nanny. I was like, oh my God, this
Oh,
is
yeah.
incredible. The
Yeah.
luxury. She was amazing. My kids loved her. And then last summer she left us, and I was heartbroken, like genuinely heartbroken, unwell, crying all the time.
Yeah.
I just couldn't imagine life without her. I felt bad for my kids. They cried about her for weeks. Like it was
Aw.
such a big life change for us. But it was also the biggest blessing in disguise because my kids also go to school now, like all day. So
Okay.
we didn't really need her. But it was like my security blanket.
Yeah.
And it felt like, okay, I felt like good going to work. I felt like I could focus on my work without worrying about the kids. And now they're in school, so it's kind of the same. But it's enabled us to be able to be more present with our kids in the daytime. We feel like we get our work done and we just go home and pick up the kids, and whoever's doing it that day gets more time with them. It's really been good for us. I feel like I'm more connected with my kids now than I was when I had her for obvious reasons. Like she spent more time with my kids than I was.
Yeah.
And while I didn't feel guilty about it, that's one thing I just truly never really felt. I didn't feel guilty that I had help because I always felt like I'm providing for my family. I need this. And it's, if anyone works full time, like we have people in our office that have husband and wife both work full-time jobs. Their kids have daycare or childcare of some sort. So it's no different. But people like love to talk shit about a nanny.
Oh yeah. It's really interesting because there was a time where David was working 4 10 to 12 hour shifts a week, and then I worked 3 12.5 hour shifts a week. So
Yeah.
I woke up, I was gone before my kids even woke up, and I was home when they were already in bed, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So we didn't have the type of working hours that daycares were open,
Right.
you know? Like we needed someone in the home.
Yeah.
And that was something that people understood when we worked that job. Now they do not
Uh-huh.
understand because it's all the relatability bullshit
Uh-huh.
and all of that. But
Yeah.
again, it's also the gender
Oh
bullshit
my
where
God,
I
yeah.
think, you know, when men work hard and provide for their family and their wives can stay home, it's, oh, congratulations, they go on a business trip, you provide for your family. Not the same
Right.
when women are, you know, have like led the family or created
Yeah. Yeah.
businesses. I think it's so just wrong and we need to get
It's
over it. It's
backwards. Yeah.
2024. It's
Yeah.
psycho to me.
Yeah.
But I love that you are so open and honest about it because it's true. Like, we need help as working
For
moms,
sure.
and it's so hard. And now that David is full time working with me in my businesses, we use our nanny consistently, I would say twice a week with the kids,
Mm-hmm.
like 9 to 3 or 4. But we're her only employer, so she'll help us with like other stuff around the
Yeah.
house or like watch the kids when we're traveling and stuff because she's like part of our family now,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
But I'm like,
As
I'll
they should
never
be.
deny needing help.
No.
How am I supposed to do it with
No.
them running around all
No,
day?
exactly. I don't think that people realize even if you work from home, whether you're an influencer or you're an accountant,
Yeah.
like you need help. You
Yeah.
can't do your job without help. I don't
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, unless you're just like half-assing one of the two,
Yeah.
which to me I'm not a half-ass person. It's like
No.
I'm either giving my kids my undivided attention or I'm giving my work my undivided
Yep.
attention and I'm not like giving 50% to either.
Yeah.
So, to me it was like a no-brainer to have help, but I mean, I get it. People think it's really unrealistic to have a nanny,
Yeah.
but I don't think it is at all.
No, not at all. Okay, so one of my favorite things to watch that you do is your home content.
Yes.
I'm just obsessed, like beyond. You moved from LA to San Diego.
Yes.
How was it, 2 3 years
It's
ago?
2.5 years ago now.
Okay, what prompted that decision?
So during the pandemic, we felt like, first off, I had a baby, and we just were not really like doing anything in LA. We were just like in our little bubble at home. The city was shut down for the most part.
Yeah.
And also, like everything in LA with kids is kind of like a circus.
Yeah.
Like the parking, the planning, the busyness. It was starting to get kind of dangerous.
It's
Like it
wild.
just wasn't like feasible and conducive for kids anymore.
Yeah.
And I felt like the city, now looking back, it's like super catered to young people, single people, like married newlyweds, like whatever. When you bring kids into the equation, I suddenly felt like LA was just like out of the question.
Yeah.
So we started looking for homes from Santa Barbara all the way to San Diego and everything in between. Found a house in San Diego. I never in my life thought I would move there. I always associated it as like a party college town. Like I didn't
Yeah.
know suburbia like existed out
Yeah.
there. And my husband went to school there. So he
Oh,
like
okay.
was always like saying to me, "Let's move to San Diego." I
Yeah.
was like, "I'm not moving to fucking like the beach bar."
Did he
Like
go to UCSD or
oh
SDSU?
God, he's gonna kill me. He went to two schools there. He's SDSU and
SDSU, okay.
USD.
Oh, so he's smart.
He's really smart.
Smart cookie.
Yeah. Then
Okay.
he moved to UCLA for law school. So like ended up
Damn.
in LA.
Wow.
Yeah. So he always like wanted to move to San Diego. And then
Yeah.
we found our house. I fell in love. It was a no-brainer. We were done. Like we just
Oh,
literally
I
did it.
remember the day you shared it.
Thought we were moving.
No, walking
Oh,
around
the
the
house.
yard, like the first ever time, because that was before any work was done. You were just like
Yes.
showing the bones of the home, and I
Yes.
knew you were gonna like fully gut
Yes.
it and make it incredible. But I remember seeing the yard with like the guest house,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, holy shit, because we had just left San Diego, like we were talking about, and I was like, where is this gem? Like
I
it
know.
is stunning.
Thank you. It's honestly like a little piece of heaven. Like I
Yeah,
feel on vacation there, like it's too good to be true. I'm
yeah,
always like, okay, what's the catch? Like what happened? Like what's going on here? It doesn't feel like reality, which I love because we're at a point in life where we want to have this very stable home life with our kids. We want to provide them with a good childhood and safety and privacy and land and quiet, and it's just the complete opposite of what we had in LA.
yeah.
And the one thing is that's a little bit difficult is that our families are all in LA,
Hmm.
but everyone loves to come down and visit because it's a nice like break from the city.
Yeah,
And they get to stay in the guest house and it's like a little vacation for everyone. So it really has worked out for the best for everybody, but we love it. We feel like aside from the house, like the community we've built down there is amazing. I feel like there's so many like-minded people, people that are going through the same things that we are, like kids and same ages and same stage of life and business owners, and it's just been incredible. Like the community that we've formed down there is so different than the community that I had up here. Like
Mm-hmm.
just so different on different pages. And while I still obviously like die for my friends up here, it's just a different life, like
Yeah.
a completely different life. And now I just can't ever imagine leaving. Like I
Yeah.
don't see myself ever leaving.
I love San Diego because you get a good mix of like the Spanish style suburbia, greenery,
Mm-hmm.
hills, and then you also have downtown if you want.
Right.
You have great shopping.
Yeah.
You also have smaller beach towns like Coronado. You have other beach lives in small
Right.
beach towns. Like it's just so much in one city.
Yeah.
And I think it's an incredible place to raise a
I
family.
agree. I think like it's set up for families,
Yeah.
especially like we're in North County, and I think that that whole area is just made for families.
Yeah.
Like everything is easy. If we want to do something and we decide like that moment, like let's go to the zoo or let's go to Legoland, like it's
Yep.
easy to just pick up and go. Whereas in
Yeah.
LA, that would never happen.
No.
Like the planning and the parking and the traffic, it's like
Oh, Scott
no.
can attest, like me driving here today, I can't do it. And it's funny because that was actually a big decision maker when we left San Diego because we lived in Del Cerro, but David worked in Carlsbad.
Oh, yeah.
That drive with
Mm-hmm.
traffic, he was like unwell. We ended up
No,
buying a hybrid so he could drive in the HOV lane. He was losing his mind because he's like, I'm going 26 miles. It takes 2.5 hours sometimes.
that's horrible.
And he's like, I just can't. And obviously, things would be different if we had worked remote like we do now. We probably
Right.
wouldn't have left.
Right.
But if we didn't, we wouldn't be where we are
Yeah.
today. So,
Yeah.
but we love it because it's only 5 hours from Arizona.
Well, you can
So,
still come back.
oh, yeah, I know. She's like, please be my neighbor.
Come back.
Okay, so I want to talk about the design of your house
Yeah.
because anything you do is like my obsession. Even one of my friends was talking about like remodeling her new house and I sent her your powder room.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's just so good. And she's like, wait, I've never seen this girl. And I was like, follow her immediately,
Oh my
look
God.
through her house
Aw.
highlights. Like, it'll blow your mind.
Thank you.
Do you work with someone that helps you design, or are these just ideas in your head that you're like, this is what I want, this is my vision?
So I have like I'm a big Pinterest girl.
Oh,
So
me.
like I've always been that way, and so I've had mood boards for like every single kind of room you can have, and
Mm-hmm.
I just go back into my archive and I pull things that I feel like make sense in the space I'm working with. So I didn't use like a designer of any sort. We definitely used like someone to help us draft things to make sure that
Yeah.
it made sense for the space, like spatial planning and like make sure materials are feasible in the
Yeah.
space. But design wise, like I take full credit for everything. Like I have my mood boards for every single project
Mm-hmm.
and it all comes from Pinterest. So it's not all original ideas. Like I
Yeah.
definitely like I'm obsessed with Amber Interiors. I love Jake Arnold. Like I pull a lot of inspiration from them. Guys are so different in that sense. Like probably not everyone, but like they see something and they think it's great. It's good as is. Like
Yeah.
what's the problem?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then you fix it and they're like, "Okay, yeah, it's way better."
100%. That's so we couldn't put our TV on the wall. So Scotty's dad's our contractor and he built this like black shiplap fireplace mantle thing to put on the wall. Anyways, we went on family vacation and I had it all done without David knowing. So he literally just walked in the house and he's like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, did
And
he
I was
love
like, remember
it?
I wanted the TV on the wall?
Yeah.
So I had to make it happen. But he would
That's
never want that. He's like, it's fine. It's sitting in the entertainment center. I said,
Right.
no, I want it on the wall.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, I just don't see a point. So I just do it now without asking.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's a smart way too. I used to do that before, like with furniture.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
just like buy things and like that meme like where like no one is stronger than a woman who wants to move a
Yeah.
couch solo. Like I would like unbox, build something, move it, like get the other thing out before he even came home. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
if he sees it, he's gonna complain. He's gonna bitch about how much it
Yep.
cost. But then when I put it all together and he sees it, he's like, okay, yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
So,
Your closet.
my closet.
How
love
long
it.
did that take? Wasn't it
A
like
year, like
Yeah.
close to a year. We basically, in our primary suite, we swapped where the bathroom was. We made that a closet, and then we
Okay.
added, like, we made an addition for the bathroom.
Okay.
So the master side of everything was really small and like very weird layout. So we kind of like waited to do that for phase 2 of our project.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to move out of our room for a whole year. We slept like upstairs in this like open room that didn't have a door, which was just
Amazing with
lovely.
kids, just
Amazing.
lovely.
Well, yeah, it was great. No privacy. We had no closet. and no bathroom. So it was great.
For a year?
A year. It
Damn.
was like good times. We would like shower in the kids' room, and then like if they went to sleep, we're like, well, no showering tonight.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
so stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, the project was very long, a lot of fighting. I will say my like one piece of advice for anyone remodeling is like you're gonna get what you pay for. So our first phase of our project, we had like a wonderful contractor. We loved the process. We were like all smiley and like loving it, and it just was great. And then phase two, we used a different company because they were significantly cheaper. And then my husband and I fought the whole time because we were like, well, so many mistakes, so many things had to be redone, so many problems.
Yep.
So we were like, yeah, we should have paid more for the person who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we learned, but it was great. It was well worth it. Now I don't even remember what life was like before this. Like the
Yeah.
closet, the bathroom, like the luxury of having a room in general, a door.
For
I'm
sure.
like living
For
my
sure.
life.
Is your house completely done?
The interior is done. We're now onto the exterior.
Okay.
So that's our next big project, and we are going to work with a design firm for that because exteriors are just not my thing.
No, and
It's a whole
it's a
different animal.
totally different type of design.
Yeah. Like I just feel like I know what I like, but for some reason the execution and like picking materials for me is really hard. So like our backyard, my husband designed because I just was like, I don't get it. I don't know what to do here. And even with inspiration and Pinterest, like I was having a hard time figuring it out.
Yeah.
So he did the backyard, and then for the front, I'm like, well, this is like what you see, the curb appeal. I'm like, I feel like a professional needs to do this. So we're working with a design firm. We're starting in the fall.
Okay.
So that'll be a fun, I'm sure, 6-month project where we don't have a driveway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of driveways, did you just buy that car? That
Which one?
fucking robot car? What's it called?
Oh, no.
No? I saw your OOT and I
No.
said, slay, bitch.
No, that was not me. My manufacturer actually just bought one. And so I was at a fitting. I was like, do you mind if I film my
Yeah.
little fit check right now?
I was like, not her being Kim Kardashian with that
No,
car. That thing's
No.
insane.
Yeah, it is
That's
insane.
Tesla, right?
Yeah. It
What's it
looks
called?
normal inside.
Cybertruck.
Yeah, the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
That's insane.
I know.
Okay, so we have a skincare launching for Lux.
Yes.
Anything else coming up?
What do we have? No, that's like our big, we do have, I can't talk about it yet.
Okay.
We have something big happening this year.
Okay.
Something really, really big, exciting. I thought skincare was going to be the big deal of the year, but this is pretty big too.
You're so fast with your launches too, I feel like.
No.
No?
No.
Oh my God. Okay, well, obviously we don't see the behind the scenes,
Yeah.
but I feel like
Yeah.
there's always something new and I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, we try to plan so far in advance, but like we've come to the realization this year specifically, I had so much in the pipeline. Like last year, I'm like, I'm getting on top of it and ahead of it. I'm planning 2025, 2026. And then here we are in 2024. And I'm like, 3 months went by. We didn't have a launch. I was like, hello, people? Like, what's going on?
Well, the behind the scenes with labs, like I'm just learning this now because I'm now in the process of launching my own business. The back and forth
Oh, yes.
products, scents, textures,
Oof,
packaging, like
yes.
that is all stuff that people don't realize of you have this incredible product. You're like, yeah, the last 3 years, I've worked my ass off on
Oh
it.
my
It's
God.
crazy.
Yes. Well, first off, congrats. I'm very excited to hear about
yeah, give me like another
this.
3 years.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Like, I mean, good things take time. That's like a very true statement. And I think that all those details that people just assume someone just decided without having to spend weeks doing is crazy.
Yeah.
Because the length, the width, the smell, the cramp, the climp, the
Yep.
cap, the
Yeah,
box, like
everything.
every single thing is like a decision.
Yeah.
And a lot of thought goes into those decisions. So it's not a quick thing at all.
But you've done such a beautiful job because all of your product, you can tell the quality behind it, which I think is
Thank you.
important. Because there's been, obviously, in our job, we get sent thousands of things.
Right.
And you can tell right off the bat when it's not a quality
100%.
product.
Yeah, I'm very, very picky when it comes to that stuff. I feel like my team probably like secretly hates me for that because I will derail a whole project over something like the cap not being weighted enough.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh my God, like
They're like, are you sure?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
you can't live with it. It
unfortunately,
needs to be
yeah."
like a point centimeter, like whatever, thicker, heavier."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, I can't."
Well, I just have to tell you, I admire you so much in the way you are as a businesswoman, a working mom. I have a lot to learn from you when it comes to even your businesses. So I applaud
thank
you in
you.
everything you've done.
So sweet.
And I appreciate you being
Oh my
on
God,
Cheers.
of course. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Make sure you guys check out Sivan's socials. She's incredible. look at her brands, Lux Unfiltered, shop tan lines, and then check out her skincare launching in April, right?
Yeah, in April.
Yay.
Let's hope.
Well, thank you. Yeah, until your team's like, now
Yeah,
damn it, she
yeah.
changed the packaging. Well, thank you for being here. I really
Thank
appreciate it.
you.